Okay, I'm your host, Rafael Moran, and I'm here with the Multiverse Kids. What's your name?
Ariana.
How old are you?
I'm 9. I'm Raya, and I'm 6.
Okay, we binge watch the new season of Cobra Kai, and you kids, you saw all the other seasons too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, I shouldn't have these kids watch the show. It's a little
R-rated.
Spicy. The language can be spicy sometimes. That's what I call it. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Spicy means, hot. When the language is all hot.
Huh? You mean like a curse words?
Yes, like a curse word.
I thought you just said curse words.
Well, the original Karate Kid movies, which the show is based off, they came out in the 80s, and they were
Watch that.
they were PG-13, I think PG movies. They were mostly for kids, yeah.
But kids in the 80s, they watch like R-rated movies.
Yes, but the Karate Kid was not an R-rated movie.
They could have just made it an R-rated movie so that the kids could just watch.
No. Yes?
Why did the parents let the kids watch R-rated movies? They should have just let them watch Karate Kid or PG-13.
They had a lot of PG-13 movies, and the 80s had a lot of movies geared towards kids.
Nintendos.
Yeah, they had the Goonies. They had Karate Kid. I think that's about it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're doing Cobra Kai now. Who is your favorite character on the show? And I know what you're gonna say. Okay, I know it. You're gonna say what?
Samantha.
Samantha?
Yeah, or Sam.
Lame. What are you?
Miguel.
Of course, Miguel. Of course.
Yeah, obviously. Can I say a spoiler?
Yes.
Robbie turns bad.
That's not a spoiler. That happened last season.
They did?
Yes.
And Robbie's also good at the beginning.
I wouldn't say he was good in the first season. He was kind of a bad kid, trying to be good. Yes.
He just wanted to, make his father feel bad.
Yes, well,
So he was a bad son. Yeah. Like Johnny was a bad dad. What?
Yeah, well. So, this season, they're visited by the villain from Karate Kid Part 3, Terry Silver. And he is known for his long hair, and he brings his long hair again. And now his hair is actually silver. It's all white.
That isn't silver. There's
They call that, they call old men with gray hair silver foxes, okay?
Huh? That makes no sense, but they aren't even foxes. And
Hey, when you grow up, you'll understand what a silver fox is, okay?
But they aren't even silver.
Yes.
So if I grow up, then you're going to be a silver fox?
No, I'm never gonna grow my hair out to be fully silver like that, no.
You're going to color your hair.
I'm gonna color my hair.
Black?
I don't know.
Obviously. Brown? Or you could put highlights in your hair.
I don't know.
You put
We're going off track. We're talking about Cobra Kai. Now, you guys...
That tail.
You guys... You took some martial arts. You took Taekwondo, didn't you?
Yeah, we only got our white belts.
But you broke the wood.
Can I say a spoiler about the wood that no one should hear about
Yes.
if they're young?
Right.
It had a crack in it.
That's obvious. You're a little kid. There's no way you can actually crack a piece of wood with your hand.
Exactly. And we only got our white belts. Then we quit. And in that Taekwondo class, we could only get the white belt if we were in front of the class.
We didn't actually quit. We stopped because of COVID. basically.
Why should we just use our feet to break the thing?
Wait, you didn't use your feet?
No, we used our hands.
You
It would be better if we swiped our feet up and down to break the thing.
Okay. Well, this season, my favorite character was
Hawk.
Eli Hawk. Yes. Yeah.
Why? Because he was on all the teams.
Yeah. Well, also I think he redeemed himself from last season because he was so bad last season, and
he was in Cobra Kai last season.
Yeah, and now he was part of Eagle Fang, and then later he joined Miyagi-Do.
He joined all of them. He's a cheetah.
This whole season, everybody's just switching back and forth to different schools.
Schools?
Yeah, there are different schools. There's
Miguel went to
Miyagi-Do, and then there's the,
those are Miguel went to
they're dojos and schools. They're
exactly the dojos.
It's basically the same
Miguel
thing.
went to all of them.
Right. But Miguel was the big loser of this season.
What?
Yeah.
He was.
He gave up at the end.
His back was broken.
Yes.
So you told us that the person playing Miguel is going to be playing Blue Beetle. So probably what me and Ran are thinking is that they probably made him left to find his dad because they have to do the Blue Beetle movie.
That's possible.
But Miguel's one of the main characters. I guess you're right.
They've introduced so many new characters now. They can do without Miguel for a little bit.
No! Tori is also one of the new characters.
Yeah, well, Tori also, I think she's gonna turn good.
No.
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, one character that kind of annoyed me this season was actually Daniel. Yeah. He kept thinking he's right, he knows everything better, but in the end, he realized he don't know nothing.
What?
Yeah. In fact, I think my favorite teacher is actually Johnny. Yeah. Johnny is he's a bit dumb.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing could beat the part of this season when he got so mad he was fighting the beach.
I remember when he threw the guy off the scooter and he broke it.
Yeah, when he threw that guy off the scooter, it was very funny, yeah.
He was just kicking the water.
Yeah, he was just mad at the water, just kicking the water.
You can't even kick water. What are you even kicking? What? The hermit crabs and fish?
It'd be funny if a shark came out and attacked him when he did that. Yeah.
No, but the sharks only attack when they smell fear.
Well, you're true. Cobra Kai doesn't have any fear.
What if he was kicking, then the shark would say his foot?
And then he can't kick anymore.
So it was also funny when they got a tie.
Yeah.
There was
that was funny.
That same moment. It was like this, boom.
Yeah. And this season they do a rematch from the first movie. It's Johnny versus Daniel again.
Boom.
Yeah.
And when they both had 2 points, they hit each other and they both won and lost.
Yeah. So, how do you guys feel? Cobra Kai actually won.
I hate that.
Yeah. And now...
Again.
And now, they're probably going to open up schools all over now.
Done. The fist is going everywhere. We must stop it.
Yeah?
But... at the beginning of the season, I kept on repeating that the deal, if Cobra Kai wins, then Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang goes out. But if they win, then Cobra Kai goes out.
Yeah.
But Cobra Kai won, and they still aren't out.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do next season. Daniel doesn't have Miyagi-Do anymore.
How? He still does.
He can't. Or else he's going to go against the bet. So... maybe he's going to have a loophole or something. I don't know. Yes?
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end, when Tori actually won, and you find out that actually Terry was paying the referee.
Well, you know,
Also,
that could play itself in the next season. Like maybe by paying the referee, you forfeit the winning, and maybe Tori will tell Daniel that, and that's how she turns good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And that's how they can continue Daniel teaching Miyagi because Terry, cheated. So I think that's how they're gonna do it.
Geeky Dad. Also,
Yeah.
why couldn't they just make Robbie go back to Miyagi Go? And everyone goes to the same side, so no one will win or lose.
I mean, I'm sure Robbie will turn good because, he did not like how his young student turned bad like he did. Yeah?
When Ran was asking his question, I heard that he said, Miyagi Go. No. He did say it. I'm telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overall, what do you give this new season of Cobra Kai?
3 thumbs up.
Three thumbs up? You only have 2 thumbs. How'd you get 3? You still counting your toe as a thumb? Okay.
Yeah. I only give it a 3 because Cobra Kai won.
Right.
4
right.
thumbs up.
You're giving it 4 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just saying it because he
right.
he loves Miguel.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you're going to feel if next season he's not in it that much.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay,
What
so
thumbs up, Jen?
well, that's it. We all liked the new season of Cobra Kai. I'll give it my I guess I'll go with your scale. I'll go with 4 thumbs up.
I said 3.
Yeah, well, he said 4, so I'm going with him.
Fine, I'll give it a 4 too.
No, you can't change your mind.
Yeah, I can. No, you That's what Rand does all the time.
Okay. Well, later on the show,
She lied.
we are going to get a real martial artist.
What?
Yes.
What?
He's going to give us his expertise on
Better be. What?
yeah.
Only martial art.
on what, what the martial artists on the show are doing, and if it's up to snuff.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean that's a saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I should actually watch. Why do we say that?
Yeah. Well, I mean they're not our sponsor anymore, but you could still watch that show. Yeah. Anyhow, we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for checking out the Entertainment Rants podcast. I am your host, Marco Mazzola. Join me every week as myself and my fellow ranters bring you everything from the world of pop culture, film, TV, music, and more. We discuss and rant about everything from the 80s to today. We hope that you enjoy what you hear. If you do, drop us a line at engage@entertainmentrants.com, and please feel free to leave us a review at Entertainment Rants on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, and keep ranting.
All right, it's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello.
Yeah, see, I can't be as good as your announcer guy, man.
I tell you, you gotta get him. You gotta get the guy who's Fiverr. It's a lovely thing.
A guy got a great voice. Does he do any radio work?
Yeah, I think he does. He does a lot of that stuff, and it just, I liked out of all the ones I listened to on Fiverr, I liked his the best. It sort of resonated with me the most. So, I got in a couple of edits, a couple of rewrites, a couple of tries, and we nailed it down. People seem to dig it. A couple people were like, "Oh, that's really silly," and everybody was like, "That's really awesome." So I'm going to go with the really awesome part. I'm going to stay with that. And
it is really awesome, and I'm going to say that you probably have the best intro of all the podcasts that I listen to.
Oh, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you do have a really good, radio voice.
That I've been told. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Like, it wasn't something like, "Oh, I got a good voice for radio, and I'll
You
try
do.
that." It just sort of happened, you know? I was doing some, voiceover for my own video games I was using for my students, and somebody said that to me 'cause I was doing, like, the character voices and it's one of those follow along jump and duck and dodge and punch and kick type games. The kids just kind of follow what's happening. So I did all the voices for the first version. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh my god, you have a good voice." I had no idea. That came about during the pandemic. Like, "Oh, I guess I'll try this." Like, yeah, I guess it happened. I had no idea. I've done a lot of like when I was younger, I did like acting and things like that. So I did a lot of the learning how to project your voice and
Right.
breathe them down deep. So like, and then obviously teaching for the last 30 years, top head of the class, you kind of have to, right? You got to reach everybody,
Hmm.
and have authority while you're talking, while not without sounding intimidating, you know. So that helps.
So, this episode, it's all about Cobra Kai, and
Yes.
me and the kids, we binge watched the entire season in one day.
Wow, I think it took me 2, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think I started kinda late the first night.
yeah. I mean, there were a couple of spots where I had to close their ears. I'm surprised they
Yeah.
jumped up the language this season, but it was
Yeah, I noticed
okay.
that too. Yeah, they definitely did.
But it was okay. Uh, so what did you think of this season of Cobra Kai?
So, I enjoyed the season overall. I really liked having, Terry Silva back in. I thought it was a nice way to pull. I liked, I wasn't a huge fan of the 3rd movie. It wasn't my
Right.
favorite, but
I
I
don't think
liked him.
anybody is,
Yeah,
not
but I
even the
liked
cast.
No, no, it seemed like that. I know I was reading recently about an interview with Macchio that he was just not happy with it either. So, but I did enjoy the Terry Silva aspect of it. I liked his character, even though he was a little bit over the top with some of his like cackling and things like that he did. But I did like seeing him back in, and it's sort of certainly interesting to see how people have aged,
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
good or bad,
Yeah.
whatever. Overall, I really enjoyed the season. I definitely liked the way it ended, setting up season
Right.
5. I thought that was a
Right.
great play. I don't want to jump to the end, but I think my biggest, if I had a critique of the season, something I wasn't crazy about was there's a lot of uh, jumping ship from one camp to the other and
Right.
alliances changing
Right.
like super fast. There's a lot of it. And I think that happens a lot when you binge watch something. You notice it a lot more because, like, wow, I just watched 4 episodes and people just keep shifting. And I'm with Miyagi-Do, now I'm with Eagle Fang, and now I'm with Cobra Kai,
Right.
and now I like her, but I don't like her, so I'm going to jump over to here. It was a lot of that.
Yeah. I don't know if it was just me alone, but I felt that Daniel was a little too stubborn. You know,
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
it was
You're
hard
right.
to like latch on to him this season as a sympathetic character, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I agree. And he was losing people because of it, right?
Right.
His own
Right.
daughter was kind of jumping ship over to Eagle Fang when Johnny was kind of giving her, even though he was like basically trying to kill them on top of the roof. When she did make the jump and make the leap, she kind of saw what he was doing, and like that shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? That shouldn't happen. That he almost kills them, and then they align with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when we did our discussion on your show,
Yep.
we did a couple of predictions, and a lot of predictions did not happen. But one
Yep.
thing did come true. We did say that Silver was probably gonna expand Cobra Kai,
Yes.
and it looks like that's what's gonna happen.
I mean, that ending, I gotta say, usually I'm pretty good about seeing things coming, and I can honestly say I did not see that coming.
Right.
I
Right.
did not see that turn at the end. We're spoilers, right? We got spoilers all
Yeah,
over here.
it's gonna be
Okay.
spoiled. Yeah.
Okay. So for him to get Kreese arrested by beating up the guy and basically bribing him to say it was Kreese that did it, I didn't, so he could take over Cobra Kai and then start expanding. I mean, he really did a 180, right? Like he 180 at the beginning of the season from when we
Yeah.
saw him in the 3rd movie. Now
Hmm.
he's just, he's retired and he's just rich and he's doing his thing, and all of a sudden now he's back. Kreese gets him back in the fold and gets his,
Yeah.
almost like somebody who should be drinking alcohol and they got that first taste and boom, they're right back on the, what I mean?
Exactly.
They're right back off the wagon, and there they go, and that's where he was. And they basically drank the Kool-Aid again, but And it seemed like Kreese was like starting to get soft a little bit.
Yeah, he also did a 180.
He did, right?
Everybody
He got
was doing
soft.
180.
Yeah, it was a 180 season. It was a 180 season. You're totally right. So that was, interesting. It was a good roller coaster. Like I enjoyed
Right.
the roller coaster of it. I just the allegiance changing was
You know,
just too frequent, and some of it
right.
just seemed unnecessary.
So what do you think is going to happen next season? You think Kreese will be in it?
Yeah, I have no doubt he'll be. It's all about him trying to, like, get his way back. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna stick him in jail for the entire season. I think something will happen, and as he always does, he weasels his way out of everything.
Yeah,
So somehow he'll weasel his way back through. And who knows? Will he align now with Johnny to get back at
I was
Silva?
thinking that. I was thinking that.
Because you saw him trying to get Johnny back into the fold and be nice to him, even though Johnny wasn't really having it.
So I got a wild theory myself.
Right?
They kept hinting about who is Johnny's father. Okay.
Yeah, his original father, his actual father. Yeah.
Okay. You don't think it's Kreese, is it?
I don't know. I feel like if it was, he would have known that, right? Like at some point that would have come out in all the years of their relationship, good or bad.
Right.
I feel like at some point they would have. You know what I mean?
And then they're also hinting at Miguel's father. Like there has to be some kind of big reveal that's going to happen between that too.
There has to be, right? Why send him to Mexico basically, and Johnny chasing after him? This whole plot line that's going to take place in season 5. How long it'll take place, the whole season or a couple episodes, who knows? But that's obviously, you don't put that all in there for a letdown, for nothing, for just blow over. Not that shows haven't done that. Of course, shows have done that, but I don't feel like they're going to explore that plot line and just drop it for no good reason.
Yeah, yeah. And then, there was a couple of hints from Terry about saying like he's going to get another person from Cobra Kai to help him out. So it could be that Barnes character from part 3 as well.
Could be Barnes. He's still around. He's still acting. He's doing stuff. He's on one of the soap operas, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it could be. I mean, I would like to see him back. I would like to see him, as much as, his character annoyed me. I didn't really like that movie, but but again, it's the same thing, right? Bringing these people back in, right? We want a Hilary Swank appearance at some point.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do it, it's almost like, just go all the way. Just do it. Get everybody in there. Go out with a blaze of glory. I was talking about this on my podcast. We just recorded like 6-7 hours worth yesterday, just to get a whole bunch of shows in the bank, and we kind of touched on a little bit of like how they can make this, because we were talking about nostalgia, right? We're talking about rebooting and redoing, and this show is all about the nostalgia. However, to make it last, however many seasons they want this to last, whether it is 5 or 7 or whatever, at some point you have to make that shift, right? It's all these teens and the teen drama. That has to be eventually what goes forward to make the show keep going, because eventually the actors like Machio and Kreese, and so they're going to age out.
Exactly.
And you've also then picked off too much off the bone, right? The bone is gone. Like the well is dry from the nostalgia of the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 or 4 movies, it's done. So then what do? How does the show continue on after you've picked the bone dry? You're going to have to come up with some other stuff. So it's going to have to shift over to the younger people. And shifts new audiences into it, right?
Yeah. And they've already set up like some new storylines with, Daniel's son and the new kid, which is like I actually like that role reversal. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what basically, that would have been a good idea for what the reboot would have been like with Jaden Smith,
Yes. Yeah.
Seems like that would have been a better idea.
It would have been a much better idea if they, because instead of just making a completely remake of the first movie, just to continue, like Ghostbusters, right? A continuation.
Yeah.
Right, like Ghostbusters Afterlife, a continuation of the original story.
Like the creators were like throwing a big middle finger to them and being, like, okay, this is how you should have done it.
Yeah, and it certainly was not. So I think this is a much better way to do it. And it would have been nicer to have like a continuation at that point. But at that point, did Machio, did Zap, did they want to do it? Did they want anything to do with it at that point when they made that movie? Now it's like, oh yeah, why not? Everybody's doing anything. let's get
Exactly.
back on, and they got together and started to do it, you know. But it would have been a much better. I would have loved that movie much better if it was just
Yeah.
Daniel's
Yeah.
son and whatnot going at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would have made more sense. But then again, how do you have Miyagi in it? I mean, I don't remember, was Pat Morita alive at that point when the new one came out?
I'm not sure.
I
I'm not
feel like
sure.
no. I'd have to look it up. I feel like no, he wasn't around
Probably
to
not.
to
No.
do an appearance. You know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
it makes sense, right? He's gone. He's long gone, unfortunately, and so it makes sense within the timeline of this show that he's not in it, other than some flashback stuff
Mm-hmm.
from the movies. That makes sense to me.
Okay. In your opinion, out of all of the young actors on the show,
Mhm.
as a martial artist yourself,
Mhm.
who do you think carries himself as the best martial artist on the show?
I mean, on the boys' side, I would have to say Tanner Buchanan, who plays Robbie. He
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
seems to
Mm-hmm.
have the best. Whether he has any background, I have to look up, but he definitely seems like he could. He looks the most natural.
And in some of
Um,
those scenes, it looked like he was doing his own stunts, like the flips and
yeah,
stuff like that too.
yeah, yeah. On the girls' side, I would love to say Courtney Hengler, who plays Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. No, no, no. Excuse me. That's I'm wrong. The girl Peyton List, who plays Tori. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
She seems like she should be, but from a fighter's perspective, somebody's been teaching. I honestly have to say Samantha LaRusso, right? Mary Mauser. She does, right? And it's very simple. Like when I
Well,
see people on movies or
mm-hmm.
TV shows, you can very easily tell more on the female side, but even on the guy side, if you have your hands up in a fighting position and your wrists are bent backwards, like your knuckles are trying to touch your elbow versus your palm in, you can
Yeah,
tell people who will fight and who don't. Because when
right.
you really fight, you don't turn your arm or your fingers outward, right? You don't turn your hands outward, you turn them inward.
Okay,
It's a stronger position, right? When you actually make contact with your fist, your wrist should be aligned straight, your
right.
knuckles basically to your wrist. And you can see people who kind of kick their hands outward. It's a very poor, weak position.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see people who have trained and who have not, because it's like natural, oddly enough, to keep your hands out like that. More people
Right.
do that than in, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
train yourself to keep them in.
Well, I noticed with Sam's fight at the end, there was a lot of pull away shots from behind, and it looked like stunt double though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. I mean, they all seem to, especially on the female end, there seems to be a lot more stump doubles. Although,
Right.
I mean, in Peyton List, she's good though. Like she is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And,
just
what do you think about Eli?
I liked his turnaround. Yeah, I hate the fact that they did what they did to him and they shaved his head.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he rose up out of it and and basically took the win on that. I thought that was impressive. I
And
liked him. I liked his
yeah.
development. I liked
Yeah.
his journey on that.
His
It was
arc.
much
He
better.
had a good arc this season.
He did. He did. It was definitely a redemption arc
It
for him.
wasn't like
He
last season where it came out of nowhere. You know that
right.
was like a talk about a
Right.
180, right?
Right at the end, he has an epiphany
Yeah.
when he sees his friend getting beat up.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably help.
And the whole
This one
season he's
made more
trying to
sense.
kill him.
Yeah, exactly. This made way more sense. It was a slower burn to
Mm-hmm.
get him to his good redemption, which makes more sense than just a quick snap of the fingers. And he's obviously, he's now the man. He's on board with the good guys.
Mm-hmm. So, in terms of philosophy, in terms of the fighting style, which dojo do you gear towards?
I'd like to say Miyagi-Do. You know what I mean? It's not really how I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
We were probably more definitely not Cobra Kai, but maybe a little bit more Eagle Fang.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was a
Right.
little bit more gritty. It was less, sort of like meditating and passive aggressive. But we definitely weren't, no mercy, strike first, bloody them up, and then if there's anything less, ask the question. But so I'd probably say we were that. But as I got older and and you adapt with the times, right? Like you
Yeah.
can definitely tell. Like most parents, if you want to have a successful school, it's really want to have more than let's say 100 students. It's very tough to do that with an Eagle Fang or a Cobra Kai. Most parents these days they want the Miyagi Do because they don't really want their kids fighting. They really want their kids to have focus. They want their kids to have confidence and discipline and manners and respect. And they don't necessarily want their kids to start beating up other kids because somebody didn't like, their version of what they think Harry Potter a good, spell is. And I've had that happen. Like I've had one of the kids in my school had a fight with somebody because he's had temper issues and, has had it solved. He had that. Like he literally had a fight with the kid because somebody said like he didn't know the right spell for like a Harry Potter spell. You know what I mean? Like his wasn't right. His wasn't good.
Wow.
So they just haul up and punch the kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
like, you can't do that. So we had words and we did the course correction and now he's one of my strongest students. Yeah, he's one of my school leaders. And, the kids look up to him as to, how to behave and how to act and, how to do things. So, it works if you're doing the right direction.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite parts of this season was the big showdown between Daniel and Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And the training sequence for Johnny was probably the most hilarious thing I've ever seen so far.
I liked both. I liked Johnny training, Daniel, and I like Daniel training Johnny. I thought that was a great way to do it, to do both. You got to see both sides of how they train.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the other person like just get out of their comfort zone and train the other person's style. But you're right. When Daniel's training Johnny and he's got the pads like Miyagi,
mm-hmm.
right? And he's got the baseball catcher chest guard on the face and he's punching him and he flips into a crane kick position. And you see Daniel kind of give him the look like, yeah, ha, 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 funny.
And then the scene where he goes into the hate training and he's knocking everybody over.
Yep.
That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It was good. Like, there was good humor in this season. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Amongst all the sort of, teenage angst and I hate you and I want to go be with this person now.
It was less like comic book villain-esque like last season.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and even Silva coming back, I thought he played a much better villain this time.
He was a little bit, yeah. He had nuance.
He did way more nuance, way more believable. He wasn't just, if you remember back to the movie when he's like in the sauna room and he's yelling at his phone,
right?
And he's laughing maniacally. Like to me, that was that comic book villain you're talking about.
I think he even admits in the series, like in one episode, he said like he was coked up on the 80s.
Yes, that's right. He did say that. That definitely explains him standing in the sauna screaming at his phone.
Yeah,
he's like, I like that, Johnny. Which is kind of weird. I never understood this, but Kreese and they're both named John, so they're both called John or Johnny.
Right.
That was kind of weird for me. Like, I get it. John's a pretty common name, but there's only so many characters you have in this movie series. You name two people John.
Wait, I thought he was Terry though.
No, John Kreese, and Johnny Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
And Terry calls John Kreese. He calls him Johnny half the time.
Right. Well, this is why I think that they might be father and son. Maybe named.
It could be. He could be a junior, and you don't know it.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know. We don't know.
And why is he so soft on him? Of all the students.
Because he always saw him as the golden, the golden child, basically the winner, the number one. He was the guy who was going to take. He was the one going to take Cobra Kai to the next level.
Right.
My father always said that about my brother who had passed away. Like he was going to, the soccer club that my father and my brother were running together. My brother was going to eventually take it over, and not me. I was in karate. That was never going to happen. But my brother was supposed to do that. You know what I mean? So it could be the same thing. It could be the same thing. Yeah. So that I think definitely makes the theory hold up. I can see that, and I think it would be a good twist. I think that would be a good twist. I do like that twist. I know some people might say like that's too easy, and you're kind of like maybe we're jumping the shark here. I don't think so. I think that would be a good twist.
So in terms of
and they're both blonde.
Well, yeah, that's true. But the actor that plays Kreese, he has such a menacing look.
He does.
He's more intimidating than all the villains in Marvel movies.
He does. He could put Thanos to shame. Thanos just give the glove up. Give that to him. Have you seen? So have you ever that website Cameo? he's on Cameo. You can pay
Oh,
to have
yes.
him like
Yes.
say hello. He plays it even that. Like if you ever watch some of the sample ones that he does, or
He plays
ones
it in
he's done interviews,
character, huh?
totally in character. It's hysterical to watch. And he's
Wow.
telling people
Wow.
to sweep the leg, and somebody was doing a for his wife or girlfriend who was getting her black belt or opening a school or something like that, and he was saying good luck and don't forget to sweep the leg, and he's like good luck at your school, but I'm gonna come down there. Don't forget Cobra Kai's #1. Like it was really cool. It's really funny.
Yeah.
He's owned that character. He lives it.
I like the part where they were watching the Van Damme movie too. That was bringing me back.
Yes, that was great. That was really good. Like, oh, they paid a couple of bucks to get that license to watch that movie.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Speaking of which,
it's funny when they do that, right? That world
Mhm.
building, like kind of like, oh, so Van Damme movies exist in this when they were both
Yeah.
originally movies that were at the same time. You
So,
know,
in your opinion, as a martial artist,
Yeah.
who are some of the best American actors that do martial arts in movies?
It's cheesy as it sounds. Chuck Norris is still one of the top
Mm-hmm.
and top rated, one of the best in terms of the martial arts that he did. And, and he's been in everything, between the Walker series and all that kind of stuff. So to actually, and I like the fact, he was actually a real martial artist before he
Right.
became an actor, we had talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably still top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other one, not a great actor, not great movies, but the guy who played in the American Ninja series was fun to watch. Because Terry Dorf, something like that. I have to look it up. Terry Dorfin, I think his
Michael
name is.
Dudikoff, I think.
Michael Dudikoff, that's the one. You got it. Michael Dudikoff, that's him.
Oh,
He
man,
was
I loved
fun.
those movies when I was a kid.
He was always fun to watch. He was always fun to watch. And then on the other side, on the female side, you have
I didn't feel like he had
Cynthia
a good
Rothrock.
amount of martial arts, though.
He wasn't bad. I mean, it was ninja, so it's a little
Yeah.
different. It's a lot of the assassination, sneaking, hiding. They don't do as much fighting as let's say Chuck Norris, but it was still there. The other one, the real deal is Cynthia Rothrock.
Oh yeah, they mentioned her in the show.
Yeah, because she is the real deal, and she's been a martial artist forever. And now she's a major B movie star, if that's a thing.
Yeah.
She's done a million. Between overseas and here, she's done just a large catalog of movies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she did most of it overseas, I think, most of her movies.
Yeah, most of everything is from overseas, but, she has a huge list. Her IMDb page is pretty long.
Yeah.
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 It says 66 credits, but I feel like, but that's it. She has at least 66 credits to her name.
Right.
Which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good for a martial artist turned actor,
Right. What about Scott Atkins?
Yeah, Scott Atkins. Scott Atkins is not bad. I don't know. It's tough, I mean, it's tough because some of them are, what is their background? You know what I mean?
Right.
How much of their background is in there, and how long? You look at a Van Damme, you look at a Steven Seagal, and in those days, like we were back there in the '80s, those guys were the gods, right?
Exactly.
Martial artists.
Exactly.
You get a little bit of their history, you're like, okay, a little bit. That's a little bit, fact or fiction. What are we dealing with here?
Right.
Van Damme was a martial artist, but a dancer. So a lot of his moves came from that.
Yeah, from I think ballet he did, right?
Yep, he did a lot of ballet, and then I think against him, you can see he moved better than I can do a spinning kick. That's for sure.
Right.
But world champion. A lot of the bio has been beefed up.
Right. Right.
Same thing with Seagal. First American and legitimately first American to be able to actually own and run a dojo in Japan for Aikido, which was not really heard of back then. Still really isn't, to be honest with you. But to actually be sanctioned to run his own school was pretty impressive. But then it starts to get a little hairy with the old CIA, special forces and all the other stuff that he had put on his bio that wasn't really true.
Right. I know another actor who claims to have a lot of martial arts background, Michael Jai White.
Yes, he's legit. He, again, a Shotokan stylist, among other things, multiple black belts. And he is legit. He is legit martial artist
Yeah.
and a good actor. I like him.
Yeah, and he actually has said that if he got into a fight with Seagal in his prime and Van Damme in his prime, he said he would have taken him out.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Especially Van Damme. Seagal, too, because it's a very different form of martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different. Aikido, to like a shorter. I've done both, and they're very different. They're very, very different. Yeah. And which is why I did both, right? Because I wanted to be as well rounded as I could.
Right. Well, so I'd also put on that list maybe Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah. And so he's one of that sleeper person, right? Because he's definitely seems like he's an actor who studies, who knows martial arts, but he's a really accomplished martial artist. You know what I mean? But he doesn't, other than like Blade, he doesn't really lean on his martial arts for his movies and stuff like that. There isn't too much. Whereas like Michael J. White, it's so much of what his persona in the movies is because he's a martial artist, like Van Damme.
Right.
It was all about the kicking movies. You know what I mean? Whereas Snipes did a lot of other stuff that had nothing to do with his fighting.
Yeah, he was more well-rounded as an actor.
Yeah, when you do like the Major League series and things like that, where he's never throwing a kick or anything like that, but try to look at a Michael J. White or a Van Damme movie where they don't throw a kick. They throw a kick in every movie, right? Because they're a martial artist,
Right. So who do you think is the worst actor to do martial arts?
Ooh, that's a good question. The worst actor to do martial arts. Oh, I'd have to think on that one because there's a few.
I got one, like Chris Farley.
Oh, so you're saying somebody who's pretended to do martial arts and never actually studied?
That was just a joke.
He was atrocious in that movie. Oh my god, that was awful. But meant to be, right?
Yes,
that was meant to be.
Yes.
Yeah. There's definitely some bad ones. There's definitely some bad ones out there.
I know. Roger Moore.
Oh, everybody kind of poo-poos him, and I do too to a certain degree because he wasn't a great Bond, but he's kind of my Bond.
Well, yeah, he's my Bond too. I grew up with that one, but
he's the one I grew up with, and I saw Timothy Dalton.
But
and,
every time he tried to do like martial arts, and he did like the karate chop type of martial arts.
Oh, it was ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. Bad.
It was ugly. It was not pretty. It's like that one hand kind of chops down.
Yes.
Which is just a nonsense move. Yeah, it's so funny. You can picture like palm facing you, kind of just pops the hand down. It's almost like he's slapping somebody. He's just like slapping somebody because that's the only move he has.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But yeah, he's my Bond. I grew up with him. Like he's my first introduction. I was too young for Sean Connery.
Right.
So when I started watching any kind of Bond movie, he was still doing it. Octopussy and all that kind of stuff. Like he was my Bond. And then Timothy Dalton came in and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they started to fight more realistic when Dalton came on.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And he did the one with Wayne Newton, right? He was the one who did the one with Wayne Newton, I believe.
Yes.
That's one of the first ones I remember seeing him in. And kind of the first introduction I had to Wayne Newton, oddly enough.
Yeah, I mean there was one where Connery pretended to be Japanese, and I think he did some kind of martial arts in that.
I think you get away with that these days. You can't get away with that these days.
No.
We were talking about that. So in my yesterday, I did a long day podcasting. One of the episodes we did was Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah.
So that'll come out in a few weeks, and oh boy, that was a lot of martial arts that were just horrifically phony, kung fu and whatnot, and then just cultural appropriation the entire from beginning to end.
But I heard Dolph Lundgren actually has a martial arts background.
He does. He absolutely does. Yep, he does. He's a martial artist. Yep, absolutely. Who are some of the other ones these days that are still kind of floating around? I just had it in my head. We have Dolph Lundgren. I liked Mel Gibson tried, right? Mel Gibson tried martial arts in the Lethal Weapon series, not being an actual martial artist.
What about Jason
Statham? I thought he did. He's a real martial artist, and he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has some serious
the way
training.
He does it. Yeah.
serious training on him. But some of the other guys, not so much. Obviously, Jet Li is the real deal. He was a national champion for a long time in China. He
Right,
was a
right.
huge competitor, and then went into the movies.
What
And
about
I like him.
what do you think of Keanu Reeves when he did The Matrix?
He's now since then has studied, a lot MMA, jujitsu. But back then, not as much. But I think they did an amazing job training him. But I think they did a great job training everybody in that movie who had to be doing actual, like, Lawrence Fishburne, what's her name, Moss.
Yeah.
Well, so
One
her,
one
they
criticism
had to, and they did a great job.
to me, one criticism about the first Matrix, I felt the fight scenes were a little too choreographed. You know, when you look back
Sure.
at it now.
Yeah, it was. So we call that stylized.
Right.
It's very stylized fighting, right? Like it's certainly, and it's kung fu, so it's very much tap, 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 right?
Right. Right.
When you look at, like, so there's different philosophies in martial arts, and one, karate is very much, especially like a Shotokan karate, is very much a one shot, one kill system. I'm gonna punch you once and absolutely destroy you. Now you're gonna punch a person multiple times, but that one punch should absolutely destroy them, right? With every
Right.
shot destroys them.
Didn't
Whereas
Bruce?
kung fu is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you multiple times to drop you.
Right. Wasn't that Bruce Lee's philosophy, the one punch thing?
He had the 1 inch punch. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had that 1 inch punch. And but he did, he started with Wing Chun. He started with Kung Fu. So it was
Right.
very, fluid and flowing and multiple strikes. And then he obviously pared it down to his own style, to Jeet Kune Do, where he kind of incorporated a lot of other styles, including boxing and, other stuff, to make it a more well-rounded style.
Right. Right.
You know.
Donnie Yen. He's a good.
Oh, he's real good.
Mm-hmm.
He's real good. He trained some people for some of the more recent movies as well. I loved his
Yeah.
stint in Ip Man. He did wonderful. I love the entire Ip Man series.
Right. I love those.
Those are awesome. I thought it was really. I mean, obviously very poetic license. Doesn't, even the first one was a little bit of what the man's actual life was, but by the time you got to the one, forget it. It was just
Yeah.
complete fiction. It's absolute
He's
complete
fighting
fiction.
Mike Tyson and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was complete fiction, but really fun movies. Yeah, I
Exactly.
do. I will rewatch those. Like, I've rewatched them a number of times, and I would go back to them again because I like Wing Chun. I studied that for a while, so I do enjoy that. So it's fun to watch.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about you. When you were a little kid, what got you into martial arts?
It was the Bruce Lee ninja craze, and then within, I want to say, my first year or so, Karate Kid then came out. So first year or two, then Karate Kid. I was in it already before Karate Kid came out, but then, like, came out and was like, all right, this is the thing to do. My cousins, two of my older cousins were doing it at a school about a mile away from my house, because we all kind of, we're Italian. We don't go that far from each other. Everybody stays very close to the grandmother. So we were all in the same, mile radius of each other. And there's a school right down the street, in the sort of Italian section of Newton, where I grew up. And they were going there already. And it's like, hey, you should try this. You should try it. I was like, okay. I wasn't a super athletic kid. I tried sports. I was not a big sports fan. That was my brother. But I tried it, and I was like, all right, I like this. So I stuck with it. 37 years later, I'm still doing it. But it was that ninja. I remember having the magazines and the Kung Fu magazines and ninja. And of course, Bruce Lee was, obviously long gone. But still, he was huge at that point in the 80s. Like a resurgence. And so he was in all the magazines and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what got me in. And then just finding sort of like martial arts is, and I say this to kids all the time because, I've been teaching for so long. You see kids who struggle with sports. I'm not athletic. Well, you don't have to be athletic to do martial arts.
Exactly.
You want to be on a soccer team. Let's pick on soccer, which, we love soccer, but if you're a little kid and you're not great at it, but you have self-confidence and self-esteem issues, sometimes organized sports like that, team sports, aren't the best vehicle for you to build that confidence, because kids can be brutal. and you're on that team and you miss the goal or let the goal in, and they give you that look of death, like how did you made us lose the game?
Right.
It's shattering, right? Especially back then, right? Because you could do that to each other. Now it's everybody gets a trophy. Back then
Mhm.
it was you made us lose the trophy. We're not getting the popsicle. We're not going for the pizza this year, you know. So that wasn't really my bag, you know. But with martial arts, you pass and fail based on what you do. You know, even though you have people who help you and you train with people, when you take your test, you pass that test because of the work you did. You fail that test because of the work you didn't do. And if you fail, but the person or you pass and the person next to you failed, it had nothing to do with you. You didn't make them fail. They did. You know what I mean? So it was very individual that way. So you didn't feel that sort of like anybody looking at you like, what did you do? You made me lose.
Okay, let's give your dojo a little plug. Tell us the name of the dojo and where they can go and the
So we're
website and all
actually
that stuff.
sure, we're actually located in Woburn, Massachusetts. It's called Focus Martial Arts. We've been there for a little over 12 years now. About 12 years now. We were previously a different company, a different name. We were Peaceful Warriors, and about 3 years ago, we rebranded to Focus Martial Arts, which made a lot more sense to people, including myself. So yeah, we have a dojo. We're there 6 7 days a week, and we train kids anywhere from 3.5. We do. We have a very unique program called Kids Love Life Skills. I'll plug them a little bit because I actually work for them now. It's kidslovelifeskills.com, where it's not quite a merit badge system, but it's a life skills program where we teach 43 different life skills throughout the course of a year. So we don't necessarily just say that we're like a karate school. We're a life skills educator, and we teach those life skills through martial arts.
That's great. That's great. And
So, we're working on fitness right now, and then we'll go over to, either manners or balance or control or respect or tolerance and pride. And again, there's 43 different life skills that we work on. And the kids get to get their little badges. Their parents actually have to award the badges to the kids at home. We give some in the class, but the parents super powerful because the parents get to take these materials home, a coloring sheet and a mat chat and a parent handout plus the little badge, which is just a little stick-on badge. It's fantastic. They take it home and we do one life skill for 2 weeks, and the parents get to say, "Okay, Johnny, you're working on family this week, which means the most important part of your life. Family is the most important part of your life. Every life skill has a saying." Um, and they say, okay, well, you're going to spend 15 minutes a day working, doing something with the family. And if you do that for 5 days, you get your badge.
wow. Yeah. Is this a nationwide thing or just something
It's in,
that's?
no, it's international. It's an international program. People can go, and people use it from all types of stuff, right? You can go, you homeschool people use it, because
Oh yeah.
it's a set of materials and you download the materials and you can print out the coloring sheet, which, has the saying on it, kids can color it. And then you have the mat chat, which it's sort of a call and response. So if I were to do, like, let's say the focus one with you, I'd say, okay, focus means to pay attention. What does focus mean? You say, pay attention, sir. When you
Mm,
focus, you have to look with your, you say, eyes, sir, and listen with your ears, sir, and think with your mind, sir, and do the best and control your body, sir. So it's like this whole little call and response match chat versus just like talking at a kid for 2 minutes, which is useless. They
right.
tune you out after, you have kids, they tune you out after like 20, 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So you call and response, they have to respond back to you. So it's much more powerful that way. And then they have the coloring pages, which in our school and a lot of schools we always encourage, have your kids color the coloring page, have them bring it back. We put up a coloring wall, almost like a big fridge, right? And the kids put up their coloring pages on the wall with a name on it at the end of the month. I usually have the Alexa pick a number. So I number each one,
Right.
and one person wins like a $25, Amazon gift card or something like that. So
Mm,
it's a little incentive to do it. And of course, I don't have to be the bad guy. I let the computer pick the number.
okay. Yeah. In New York public school, they have something like that. It's a program they call the Class Dojo, and the kids have to do certain accomplishments in school and at home, and they get special badges. And at the end of the
Yeah.
week, they get a special gift in the school.
And how wonderful is that, right? It's super
Yeah.
powerful because it's not just like for us, it's not just, I'm not teaching a kid to kick and punch other kids in the head. You know what I mean?
And it
You're
forces the
at,
kids to actually want to do something good because they
yep,
want to get the dojo points and the badges and all that stuff. So
that's right.
it's a good incentive.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I thought like going into it when I first found the program and started working with the person who created it, I said, okay, it's for little 3.5-year-olds to 6-year-olds. And okay, oh, you can do it for 7 to 12-years. Oh, great. Okay, that makes sense for kids. But then I found and I figured, no teens are gonna want to do this. And he's like, no, teens love it too. So I turned to my teens and like, did you want to earn the badges? They're like, yeah, and they compete. Oh, he has 7 badges. I want an 8th badge. I want to earn the knowledge badge. How do I earn it? So I'm like, all right, I'll come up with ways for you to earn the knowledge badge or the honesty badge or whatever. You know what I mean? So like even the teens are, we don't give them the same mat chats. Obviously, they're not doing the coloring pages, but the other stuff, there's no way you can't. There's no reason you can't turn an honesty badge into a teen. Something that they can do and earn.
Right. Well, this was a really epic long talk. It's we really got inside of your head. We got inside.
Told you we were a little scary in there, but yeah,
scary, like everything inside of you. And it's good. It's a good conversation, and we talked about a lot of things.
We did. And you know us, we could go on forever. We did 3 hours on mine.
Yeah. This will be a 2-parter. This one, yeah.
I thought about it. I'm like, I could do this 2-part, and I almost had to because I use like a WordPress site to go through Castos to do it, and they're like, yeah, the file's too big. It won't process through the WordPress to go to Castos. If I did it directly to Castos, they don't have a problem with it, but going through the widget or the plugin, they're like, yeah, it's too big. So I had to find a website that would compress the file.
Oh,
and luckily it did. It compressed that large 2.5 hours because after our we had the internet issue, it bottled down to about 2.5 hours. Once I bottled it, once I got it through there, compressed it enough, I could put it up in one. So like, all right, I was gonna put it up in one.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this one short because I think this app can only handle like around 2 hours worth of recording.
You only got about 14 minutes left.
Yeah, but yeah, it was great talking to you again, and we got to do this again sometime.
We will. Yeah. I always have a blast. Love's fun. I don't even know what time it is. Like I don't even. Oh, it's 11:45. I don't even care. Us. We could go for at least another hour.
I know. And
minimum.
The topics keep going. We keep going.
Do.
Yeah,
they do. That's the beauty of it. The passion keeps going for what we're talking about, what we're doing. It's wonderful. It is so wonderful. Thank you again for having me on your show. I loved it. I can't wait to do it again.
Yes. And it was fun to be on your show too.
Good. I'm glad. We're going to get you on again. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Basically what I'm doing is like sending out lists to people who want to be on the show. Here's the stuff that we're planning on doing. But what I tell them is there's a topic you want to talk about that's not on the list, then you and I will do it. You know what I mean? Without the whole crew, you and I'll do it. And we'll do like this, a night, we'll just get it done and do something. So, there's something you're passionate about, you want to talk about, let's do it. And that was kind of the point of my podcast.
It was good that I didn't come on your show this weekend because I was really sick. I got a cold, so it wouldn't have been good at all anyhow. So.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better then.
Yeah. But I can't wait to be on your show again, and I can't wait to have you back on the show again. And thank you again for being on the show.
You're very welcome, sir. Thank you for having me.
And don't forget to check out his podcast, Entertainment Rants, and every Tuesday, right?
Every Tuesday. You got it. Awesome job. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much as well.
Have a great night, sir.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we tricked you. The show's not done yet. You can check out the second part of this epic interview with Marco Mazzola in a upcoming episode of the Geeky Dad After Dark. But before we go, the Multiverse Kids have a very special message for a very special person of our family, the geeky wife. I really love you, babe.
Happy birthday, Mama. Say happy birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday, Mama.